Let me out! Hey, shut up! Joke to y'all, but it's not a joke to us.
Today's video is a roller coaster. These robbers had no idea their plans would be foiled by the people they were harassing. From throwing a few punches to the victims pulling out guns for a fair fight with the robbers, the pesky crooks had no idea what was coming for them. Gas station hostages. Bring down the attacker. This man had walked inside a store and threatened everyone inside. But he had no idea that the gutsy hostages would turn back on him. He walked in and ordered the store owner to lock the doors. He then pulled up a donut machine to block the entrance. The CCTV footage shows him threatening the people that he would kill them and that he had no fear of death himself. His wish was about to come true. A brave man stepped up and dragged him to the ground. Seeing the brawl, others joined in and started attacking the intruder with anything that they could find. The man was left unconscious as the hostages darted out of the store in a hurry. The woman who escaped from a car's trunk. This may seem like normal footage, but you have no idea what is about to happen. A man gets out of the car to go to the nearby convenience store at the gas station. Moments later, the trunk of the car can be seen jolting open. A woman jumps out and races towards the store. She was smart enough to open the car trunk and gutsy enough to glance at her kidnapper when she ran to hide behind the shelves. If only we could see the kidnapper's face when he saw the victim giving him the death stare. He dropped his things and bolted out of the store. The police caught on to him and arrested him later. Young woman fights an armed man. This terrifying footage might give you the chills, but it sure did not scare this young woman. An overly friendly man made his way to a car insurance with a straw hat. When he saw that the woman was alone, he pretended to have forgotten his license and went back to his car. This time, he came back to the store with a different hat and a knife in his hand. The young woman had no time to be scared. She leapt at him with full force, threw a few punches, and did not back down. The brawl went on for a couple of minutes. The woman shook his head a few times and forced him to throw away his knife. The robber did get away with a few dollar bills, but this is not something that he would try again. A startling gunfire. A group of 3 robbers had entered a home and were running all around the house to fill up their bags, but their plans were foiled by the homeowner thanks to her quick thinking. The robbers were already on edge as they were roaming around the house. Suddenly, from the back room, the homeowner popped up with a gun. One of the crooks noticed the sneaky woman trying to shoot from the backside and drew out his own gun. But the woman was too fast. She started firing multiple shots, pulling the boneheads into a state of frenzy. They were scrambling with fear as they tried to run away and escape the heavy gunfire. One of the robbers got so panicky that he got stuck in the boxes, but eventually he fled from the back door. Father comes with full force at the intruders. 2 masked invaders had come with the intention of robbing a home, but they had no clue that their opponent would make them regret their attempt. A father and his son were sitting in the lounge when they heard a noise behind them. The father picked up the chair to try and scare them away. When that didn't work, he leapt and grabbed a wooden stick. The father rushed inside while trying to beat them with the stick. He came back, and this time he was carrying a machete. He went after the intruders, sending them running at a blazing speed. The other 2 crooks who were hiding beside the table scurried away in panic as they tried to climb up the wall. One of them was caught, and the whole family joined in on welcoming him with their fists. The girl who fought a man with a knife. This creepy kidnapper thought that he could take away a little girl while no one was around. Little did he know that she had enough guts to defend herself. This 11-year-old girl was playing with slime when she noticed a strange white car parked in front of her. Out of nowhere, a man got out of the car and started running towards her. She leapt to flee, but he lunged at her and grabbed her from her torso, but it did not go out as well as he had planned. The girl started kicking around and eventually dragged herself to the ground, forcing the kidnapper to let go. The man knew all the scuffle would alert someone. So he left quickly. Thankfully, he did not get very far, and the police caught him later. Young kid saves himself from being kidnapped. A woman thought she could lure this boy away with presents, but he had other plans. She crept up to the little boy and started saying how she would buy him presents from the store. The boy agreed, but she had no idea he would outsmart her. He rushed inside, went straight to the owner of the store, and whispered to her to act like she was his mother. The owner leapt to her feet to protect the kid, but the kidnapper was long gone. She knew better than to mess with this boy. Girl makes a run from the kidnapper. This small girl was walking along the footpath when an eerie man jumped out of the car. The girl knew better than to stop. She screamed loudly, scaring away the predator, and darted out of the scene. The man could not do anything but stare blankly at his foiled attempt. Girl punches the kidnapper. A kidnapper had his eyes set on this young teenager, but he had no idea what was coming for him. He chased after the girl and tried to grab her. The girl wrestled with him and threw a strong punch right to his chest. The man let go, and the girl was able to flee. But the kidnapper made another attempt and tried to lunge after her again. This time, the girl was in no mood to fight. She knew he was coming, screamed, and bolted out from there. You can spot the man sighing in frustration. Hopefully, he gets arrested and pays for his crimes. Watch owner pulls out a gun. Who knew the robbers could have such a good disguise? These robbers came posing as the water company workers. The two men came in yellow and orange vests, standing at the door. One of them goes towards the owner and hands him a fake notice. Suddenly, the crook pulled out his gun, while the other thug smashed the glass counter into pieces. The owner was too brave for them, though. He did not hesitate one bit and raced to pick up his gun. Then, he aimed it at the amateur crook who was struggling to steal the watches. The would-be robber took one glance at the gun, pointed at him, and ran full speed. Young girl scares away the kidnapper. This creepy man didn't realize that his planned abduction was not going to be as easy as he thought. A young girl was taking out the trash when a strange man crept up near her. He can be seen walking away and grabbing along the little girl by her hand. The 6-year-old girl screamed as loudly as she could, and the man let go of her instantly. The girl did not need to fight her kidnapper because her high-pitched screams were enough to scare the man away. The sneaky kidnapper. You spot that man in the towel? He is about to be taught a lesson. A grandma was walking with her grandkids on the footpath when the watchful kidnapper raced towards one of the kids. He yanked the kid from the grandma's grasp, wrapped him up in the towel, and ran with the grandma chasing after him. But turns out he picked the wrong kid. The little one managed to free himself from the man's strong grasp pretty quickly. You can spot the man in the towel sheepishly making his escape before the cops come. Store owner goes all out on the robber. These two robbers look quite tough, but they are about to be brought down big time. Quite literally. The two robbers came barging in with their guns in their hands and tried to shove all the people into the back room. When the two robbers went out of the back room to steal the goods, the owner managed to grab a tool off the table and dashed after them. The robber took one glance at the angry man with a weapon in his hand and knew it was about to get crazy. He ran out of the store, but the other one was not very lucky. The owner leapt at the unfortunate criminal and started beating him ruthlessly. The other people in the back heard the shouts and joined in on the brawl. The robber got up struggling and scurried out of the door in a hurry. Uno reverse. A car had parked in front of these two men, but something felt off. What they intended to do with the men, we are not sure. But the victim was not willing to let these crooks get that far. As soon as the car stopped, the men stared at the car with confusion. An armed suspect popped out of the car and hid his gun. Before he had any time to do anything, the victim instantly drew out his gun. The driver knew this was no easy target and pressed the gas pedal hard, trying to get away. Kidnapped, victim alerts the hotel clerk. This poor girl was a kidnapping victim and was being followed by her kidnapper. But she found a way to trick the kidnapper and save herself from the mess. She pretended to go to the counter to speak about an item and quietly whispered that she had been kidnapped. The employee alerted the cop, and she was saved from what could have been an even more terrible ordeal. Crooks scared away by the armed victim. This gang of thugs think are being pretty sly with their robbery, but their plan is about to fail in a few seconds. A group of friends were standing and talking when a car pulled over near them. The guy in the group looked up and saw two strange men, looking all rough and tough, getting out of the car. Suddenly, the men had guns out and pointed at the group. The girls ran away, but the guy in the blue shirt had an ace up his sleeve. He pulled out his own gun and started firing recklessly. The thugs proved quite cowardly, running away instantly. Fastest hands in the West. This may have been an attempt to rob the store, but it ended up being a race of who could pull out the gun faster. Can you guess who won? The owner drew out his gun first and pushed it against the face of the crook. He had no choice but to surrender. This store owner surely has good instincts. Store owner fools the robbers. A bunch of crooks came down the store to steal some goods. They thought they could scare the old man, but things won't turn out their way. The old man first pulled up a piece of furniture to defend himself, fooling the crooks into thinking that they would get away. While the robbers were busy with grabbing cash and other goods, the owner locked the door and headed out of the store. It took too long for the knuckleheads to realize the door was made of glass. When they finally managed to smash the door, the owner was waiting at the other end to start a fight. The robbers got so panicky that they ran and left the goods behind. Gang of thieves retreat within seconds. This gang of thieves is ready to take the store down. However, every plan can go wrong, and so will theirs. A masked man got out of the car with a rifle in his hands. Not even 2 seconds had passed by when the same man was seen scrambling with fear and struggling to get inside the car. Turns out, the badass owner had started firing when he saw the masked men coming his way. A few shots, and the car was already rushing out of the parking lot. The suspects were later found in a hospital and arrested on the scene. Kid throws rocks at a car. This group of kidnappers have no clue the kid they are chasing is not some naive little boy. This child was coming home from basketball practice. On his way home, a white car tried to lure him with candy, but he ran straight for his home. Upon reaching the porch of his house, he noticed the white car still following him. He knew at that moment it was time to step up. He picked up a few rocks from his garden and launched them at the white car. The kidnappers had no choice but to retreat. Victim brings the cops on the kidnapper. A victim was lured into a car by a couple of men, saying they would help him make money. The disabled man was then forced to go to a bank to cash a $14,000 check. But that's where the man outsmarted his kidnappers. He handed out a note to the employee at the bank who called the cops for him. Woman jumps out of the car trunk. This looks like a pretty ordinary scene, but it is about to get very shocking in a few seconds. This kidnapper had stopped at the gas station to withdraw money from the ATM. But just as he was about to leave the gas station, the safety latch popped up on the trunk of his car and a woman leapt out. She got up and raced inside the store to alert the owner. The kidnapper might have gotten away, but thankfully without his victim. Barista fights back. This kidnapper tried to be sneaky with his crime, but the barista figured out his moves. The tattooed man had ordered from the drive-thru. When the barista gave him his order, he leapt at her and grabbed her hand. While holding onto her hand, he pulled out a zip tie. But the barista fought his tight grasp and raced away to the back of the counter. The man tried to make another attempt, but knew it was better to run away. He was later arrested and tried in court. Kid slams the door on the kidnapper's face. This creepy kidnapper was recorded on the CCTV footage, walking quite weirdly. He approached the door to a house and started talking to a 10-year-old girl. At first, he was conversing with her about her t-shirt. Then, out of nowhere, he ran towards her and lunged at her. But the kid was smart and slammed the door in his face before he could make his way inside. She shouted for her dad, but the kidnapper had already gone. Old man boxes with the robber. Do not judge a book by its cover, and this video is proof of it. A 77-year-old man was out in the wee hours of the night to take cash out of the ATM. A masked man comes from behind and lunges at the old man. That was his big mistake. The old man put up his boxing face and started wrestling with the man to throw him off. But he did not stop there. He started punching him with full force. The robber knew he had messed up and tried to escape. Even when the robber backed away, you can spot the old man challenging the crook to come at him. Boy, this is the confidence you need. Kid bites the kidnapper. This kidnapper had the audacity to grab a little girl and run away from the supermarket, but he had messed with the wrong kid. She bit him, forcing him to let go, and screamed loudly. The passers-by were alerted, forcing the creepy man to run with his feet backwards. Teenager fights off a predator. A kidnapper was following a girl on her walk back home, hoping to abduct her, but he was about to get something else instead. As soon as the girl went inside, the man crept up behind her and entered the house. The CCTV footage shows the man trying to grab the teenager who is trying hard to wrestle with the tall man. Then, the little girl slammed her head on his face and forced the man to call quits on his kidnapping attempt. He can be seen leaving the house, having given up, after minutes of engaging in a terrifying brawl with the teenager. Even though the poor girl managed to send him off, she can be seen shaking with fear. Chaos breaks out at a store. A gang of armed thieves had barged inside a store, threatening to kill. But the tables were soon turned, with the thieves running for their lives. 3 men had come rushing into a store, with one robber going straight for the owner's son. He pointed the gun and fired a warning shot. That was enough for the dad to join in with a giant wood stick in his hand. He started beating the crook while the son attempted to grab him. This put the rest of the 2 crooks in a state of panic. They tried to come near the scuffle and free their partner from the beatings, but that's when the father charged at them with the wooden stick. He delivered 30 hits with his made-up weapon and forced the thugs to race out of the door and into their getaway car without stealing a single thing from the store. 13-year-old fights back. This young girl was being followed by someone, but she was not about to let anyone harass her. A man had been trailing behind this teenager for half a mile from her way back home. She noticed the creepy stranger following her and darted straight towards her house. The man raced behind her and grabbed her in a tight grasp. The girl fought back, wrestling with all the power that she had, and threw the man off of her. Luckily, she was near her home and ran straight to the door, banging it loudly. Her brother and father came out, taking care of the rest for her. Marine veteran lunges at the robbers. These armed robbers thought that they could steal a Tesla, but they didn't realize they were robbing a Marine veteran. The intruders came towards the garage and pepper sprayed the veteran. But the army man lunged back with a few punches and many curses at the crooks. They can be seen fleeing from the scene as the veteran chases after them. That's all on the escapes and brawls that filled the attackers with regret. They never saw it coming, and the victim bravely managed to escape from a potentially horrifying incident. Which one did you like the most? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We will be coming up with more thrilling videos for you soon. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.